westbushtractor.com.
When's the last time you did date night at Doe's? Doe's Steakhouse always has the charm and great atmosphere. Plus, the area's largest selection of in-stock wines. And all of the award-winning steaks at Doe's are perfect for sharing. And there's no charge for an extra side or salad when you share. Doe's is proud to be the premier steakhouse in Fort Smith at 422 North 3rd. Open 5 till 9 Monday through Thursday and 5 till 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. So make it a date night at Doe's for a great experience every time.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
What's your next obsession? If it's diving lessons, Ocean Impact Dive Shop, Western Arkansas, and Eastern Oklahoma's premier dive shop is waiting on you. Ocean Impact is a full-service 5-star PADI dive shop offering airfills and tank inspections. The staff can answer all your questions and get you started on your underwater adventure. Ocean Impact Dive Shop, 2127 South 56th Street, Fort Smith. Don't wait, summer's just around the corner. Get to Ocean Impact Dive Shop. Go get your dive on.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the Chicken Pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
Razorback news, podcasts, videos, and tons more online now. Only at hitthatline.com.
Don Lebatard.
Good work today. That was a fun show.
Stugats.
It was also intergalactically stupid.
This is the Don Lebatard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
If you missed any of our interviews, go check them out on demand in the Dan Le Batard podcast, brought to you by the Capital One Saver Card. Or 4% cash back on dining and entertainment, 2% at grocery stores, and 1% on all other purchases. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Have you heard what Zion's expectations are for himself, Stugat?
I have not. Dominance?
MVP, Rookie of the Year, eventually, possibly Defensive Player of the Year, Hall of Fame. That's a quote.
You only have one shot at Rookie of the Year, so he could mess that up real quick.
Yeah.
But if you win the MVP, you're going to win Rookie of the Year.
Oh, yeah, but you can win MVP in any of your years. Dan.
Wait,
Same thing with Defensive Player of the Year.
He's saying he's going to do that all in 1 year?
No, he's just saying he's got lofty expectations. He's 18, and he's got MVP, Rookie of the Year, eventually, possibly Defensive Player of the Year. There he's giving a possibly Defensive Player of the Year and Hall of Fame.
Any titles?
I don't know whether
Well, none of it matters then. I mean, to be honest with you.
Good. Excellent. Speaking of not mattering, the New York Knicks. This is from Get Up this morning from Brian Windhorst, and this is going to hurt Stugats. It's going to hurt Stugats below the belt.
What happened?
Quote, one of the things being discussed right now is that the Golden State Warriors would offer Kevin Durant a 5-year contract, $57 million extra than he would be signing elsewhere. Let him rehab and then work with him to be traded. Work with him. Get him his money, get him his rehab, and work with him to be traded so that they can get assets back for him and that contract. That'd be smart.
That'd be smart of Kevin Durant and the Golden State Warriors.
It'd be smart of everyone involved. If that's something that's being discussed, it would be smart of everyone involved for Golden State to get something for Kevin Durant because they can pay him the most.
It wouldn't be smart for Durant's future team, like where he's going to end up. So
that's correct.
That could hurt.
Right. You'd be trading assets, but the Knicks don't have any of those.
But if Durant plans on leaving, he probably doesn't want to do that. They might have an asset, right? They might have R.J. Barrett. He might turn into a very good player. You could trade him for Kevin Durant. They might have a pick next year. They might have some assets. They do have the 2 picks from the Dallas trade they did with Porzingis. So
yeah, I just don't know how likely, unless Kevin Durant really values that extra money. He's like, why would I facilitate something that hurts the team I'm going to because they're losing assets? No, I want them to be stronger because titles matter.
I mean, it's, the $57 million doesn't hurt them, Mike.
If titles matter, Mike, you don't leave Golden State. Like, if titles matter like that.
I think validation matters for Kevin Durant at this point in his career.
But I'm saying, if titles are what matter, if that's your standard, you don't leave there.
Yeah, but Draymond's there.
Yeah.
That'll sour just about anything. At Levitard Show on Twitter, Stugotz, what do you have there for polls today?
The Twitter poll, again, at Levitard Show, is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Dollar Shave Club delivers the products you use to look, feel, and smell your best right to your door. Plus, with their handsome discount, the more you buy, the more you save. Go to dollarshaveclub.com/Dan for a special offer. Again, at Levitard Show on Twitter. Can you say a team that lost in 6 games should have won it? I said that. 59% of the audience said no. Guy who refers to the Pelicans as the Pels because he's in too much of a hurry. Jackass or irredeemable jackass?
Mike, we got New Orleans mad at us on this. They're like, everybody says Pels in this part of the bayou, boy.
I agree. Pels. Whoa. No one wants to call them Pelicans.
75% of the audience said irredeemable jackass.
Oh, okay. Sideswiping an entire region that spoke for itself on this matter.
Are you still incapable of calling them the Pelicans because that's a ridiculous name for a basketball team? 75% of the audience said yes.
Those two results don't make sense together.
Our polling is not scientific.
Do you ever mistake Robert Redford and Paul Newman? It's a big one for Dan.
Am I the only one who does that?
Yes. Well, you're not alone. 69% of the audience said no.
Nice.
Was John Goodman the best Fred Flintstone? 84% of the audience said yes.
Congratulations, Chris. You should be proud of yourself.
Do you wear deodorant?
Well, this was jarring, right? A lot of people are offended by this. Those stats you gave earlier of a lot of people aren't using deodorant.
40% of young adults 18 to 24 do not wear deodorant.
95% of the audience said yes, they wear it.
Young adults don't listen to us.
We can now start calling millennials unclean on top of it, or foul-smelling millennials.
Yeah, we can. Was the Meg so good? So good, Dan.
That is Billy. That is Billy's contribution. That is
it was so good.
Billy
so
said
good,
the movie The Meg with Jason Statham. Was it so good, Dan?
Oh, man. 68% of the audience said no. Was the knock better than ESPN?
Go ahead and tell people. Tell people what the knock on YouTube. You could find Judge Sapp with a DJ.
Let's Buy Bleep, where Darnell Dockett bought an alligator. Meta World Therapy, where kids were therapists to Ron Artest, or Meta World Peace, and Nash Camera Action, a parody show with Steve Nash.
It's a great ring to it.
It is amazing. It seems like they were on the verge of becoming Netflix, and then it sort of fell apart somewhere.
Just a little too early.
At Judge Sapp is where it fell.
Some people are too far ahead of their time. I mean, come on. If I gave you right now, tell me Mike Ryan wouldn't sign up for Judge Baker Mayfield.
Oh.
New sheriff in town, Baker Mayfield.
Oh, you see Baker judging the Texas quarterback? Man, keep microphones away from my quarterback.
He just buried the Texas quarterback because he hates Texas.
56% of the audience said that the knock was better than ESPN.
ESPN bias these days is out of control.
Would you be mad at Kawhi Leonard if he chose to join the Lakers? 55% of the audience said no.
Wow, that's interesting.
Do you like the smell of a hardware store? Billy, I'm totally with you on this. 77% of the audience said yes. Those are the polls.
A lot of agreement for Billy's hardware store take. Mike, what do you mean you don't want your quarterback near microphone? Please, dear God, give me a quarterback who's not afraid of the microphone.
I didn't like what he did with Duke. And according to reports from Michael Silver, who's closely aligned with Hugh Jackson, I should just mention that it didn't fly with that locker room.
Wow. I hate that that's what sways you, though, that your sports emotion sways you on an interesting, swaggering, swashbuckling quarterback.
No distractions this year, Dan. It's all about the Super Bowl.
He's going to get in trouble, man. I'm telling you, every time he steps in front of a microphone, he feels the need to outdo himself.
Good, please. Go 12-4 and get in trouble every week, please.
We will talk to you mañana. This was the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Ford Pass. Everything you need to keep moving right in the palm of your hand. Now you can earn points to use toward flexible complimentary maintenance when you buy or lease a new Ford and sign up for rewards. Plus, use the app to access roadside assistance. You'll even earn exclusive Ford Pass rewards just for maintaining your vehicle. Only Ford Pass combines roadside assistance, Ford Pass rewards, and now when you buy or lease a new Ford, earn points you can use toward flexible complimentary maintenance. Ford Pass, built to keep you moving. Built Ford proud. Visit your participating Ford dealership to find out about how you can earn complimentary maintenance on every new Ford.
Roadside assistance is included for certain Ford owners and available to everyone for a per-service fee. Ford reserves the right to change program details without obligations. Visit your participating dealer or FordPassRewards.com for program rules and restrictions. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via a download.
This is Halftime.
Any season that ends in Omaha is a successful one, but it also leaves you wanting more when you go 0-2 in barbecue.
The trip to Omaha was a disappointment. It was disappointing. You were allowed to say that. This team went 0-2 with the road they had in Omaha. They should have gone farther. That's okay to say. I kind of cringe when people say the season overall was a disappointment based on what you lost last year and just how it played out. I don't think that's fair to this ball club. I don't think it's fair to Dave Van Horn. But if you want to characterize the trip to Omaha itself, the 2 games, the 2 losses to Florida State and Texas Tech, I'm okay with that. But that's kind of where I draw the line, Phil, when people start referencing this season to be disappointing, because it's not. The trip was. There's a big difference when you say that.
Every weekday from 12 to 2, only on ESPN 95.3.
Sometimes a weak heart can give you strength you never knew you had.
When I first found out I had the heart condition, one of the first things that went through my mind was, I'm going to die young.
After overcoming a heart condition that kept her from pursuing her passions, the heart team at Baptist Health helped her prove you don't have to be invincible to be incredible.
I never think anymore about what I can't do.
Keep on inspiring. Keep on striving. Keep on amazing. To schedule an appointment with a physician, call 1-888-BAPTIST.
For almost 70 years, Crabtree RV in Alma has been helping people in the River Valley get out and enjoy the great outdoors. And that tradition continues today with our brand new body shop, a first-class service department, and a friendly staff to help you choose from the top brands in the industry. So put away the devices and get out this summer to enjoy all that the natural state has to offer. With a little help from Crabtree RV in Alma, where your family's dreams come true.
0% financing and huge spring savings on new Buicks at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 2019 Buick Encore, only $18,999 or just $299 a month. That's a 2019 for under $19,000. Or get 0% financing for 72 months on most Buick models, including the Cascada, Encore, Regal, LaCrosse, and Envision. Spring into savings at the #1 Buick dealer in the country, Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
What do you get when you pull into Tony's Tire Service? You get the best selection of tires for any car, truck, or commercial vehicle. Tony's Tire Service has Cooper tires and is ready to serve you to get you back on the road safely. They'll also get your vehicle fixed with brake replacements, plus an alignment with the best repair guy in the area. Tony's Tire Service has been serving the River Valley for over 34 years. Come let our guys replace your tires with Cooper tires and our service department to make sure the vehicle has the best brakes and alignments. Tony's Tire Service, 7200 South 28th Street in Fort Smith. Service you can depend on.
Visit your locally owned Cub Cadet dealer, Myers Mower and Tiller, and find out why the all-new Ultima Series zero-turn mowers have started a zero-turn revolution. From a square tubular steel frame to premium powerful engines to best-in-class cut, Ultima Series is engineered to be a fully optimized command center of comfort and precision. Supported by genuine parts, accessories, and trained service technicians you'll only find at your local Cub Cadet dealer. Test drive the ultimate mowing experience today at Myers Mower and Tiller at 5109 Wheeler Avenue for expert advice, superior service, and exceptional offers.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Plenty of sunshine today. Our high temperatures this afternoon will be in the upper 80s to low 90s. Clear skies, low 70s tonight, and sunshine, low 90s Friday. Could see a few isolated showers or storms on Saturday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Harry Robinson Buick GMC, where you always get more for your trade. Exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith. You can shop anytime at harryrobinson.com.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 72 days.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas? Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson.
You do a fantastic job on the radio. There's no one else in this league I'd rather listen to, so keep up the good work.
And Tye Richardson.
Been doing some homework, man. I appreciate the work you're putting in. Your show is really, really good, guys.
What were you doing there?
Communicating. Keeping up foreign relations. Giving him the bird. The finger.
Yes, I know the finger, Goose.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Getting into our second day of the real beginning of summertime here on Halftime. Summertime would for us really be the time period between the end of Arkansas baseball season and the beginning of, I was going to say the beginning of football season, but it's really SEC media days is kind of like the off season, because once you get hit media days and you're about a couple weeks from the start of real practice. We can't call it fall practice. I know a good chunk of football season's in the fall, but it's like summer practice. And then the season actually starts in summertime. But there's not much of an off season here on Halftime or ESPN Arkansas or hitthatline.com. We got so much going on for about a 10 or 11 month period. And then there's about that month or so, which I'm still trying to feel out as a fairly new show host along with Tye Richardson. What do you do during so-called Mount Rushmore season? What did we do, about 30 seconds of Mount Rushmore stuff yesterday, Tye?
Yeah, 30 seconds yesterday, 30 seconds today. We got to at least incorporate it somehow. Maybe not an hour, maybe not 30 minutes, but just a little bit, Phil.
It wasn't even like a Mount Rushmore we threw in there. It was more of like a hill, like a tiny little hill, like the Toltec Mounds, the things that you thought were a lot bigger than they were, than you actually saw. They were like, what?
It's like a mogul when you're going skiing. It's like,
right.
It's barely that. That's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah, it's like the tallest hill in Florida, which isn't really saying anything. The tallest hill in Florida is the biggest yacht in the harbor over there by Miami. But so I mean, our Mount Rushmore yesterday was about was it fast food sauce? Was that what it was?
Yeah, and you said,
right.
I don't even remember what you said. I said creamy pepper from Whataburger. What did you say again?
I went with the Cajun mustard and or the hot mustard sauce from McDonald's, which you have to ask for specifically, because they actually will give you like a mustard packet if they're not quite sure what you're getting to.
I can verify Mardi Gras mustard from Popeyes is very good. So.
But the whole point is that, there aren't games involving the Razorbacks to talk about. We've hashed out what this football season could look like before you really start hearing from the coaches and some of the players that the universities want you to hear from. We can hash over the baseball season again, but I feel like we kind of did that a little bit yesterday, and we'll do that with Bob Holt later on in hour number one. But there are things that kind of get thrown out there during the offseason, as we're finding out this morning. It's such an interesting topic, this Justice Hill situation. Somebody that really right now, for most I don't mean to portray this in any negative way, but most normal college freshmen that are incoming before their first real semester starts. But then again, I mean, Justice Hill wasn't really just any normal college freshman. I mean, he graduates high school early, enrolls at the University of Arkansas a full semester early. Talk about reclassification, right? And becomes part of a basketball program for about what? Really about 4 months there, from January through April. You know, once the team ceased practices, once finals were coming up. And the topic of conversation, you know, for us at times, Tye, was, will he see the court, you know, as an untested freshman? Will they get him on the court? Do they need him in point guard? And obviously the answer was no. He never did see the court. And maybe he never will see the court at Arkansas. And you could see this coming. You could see it coming right after Mike Anderson was let go. You know, I mean, he had offered him the scholarship all those years back, I think as a freshman in Little Rock. And, I mean, the writing's on the wall there. It's like, hey, we've got this spot for you. Just make sure that you stay as good as we think you're going to stay. And you kind of wonder how much better he ended up getting, really, from some of the things that you'd heard. But I mean, the slot was there for him to play or sit or whatever if Mike Anderson was still the coach. But he's not the coach anymore. And the new coach, Eric Musselman, has been highly active at rebuilding a roster where really you weren't going to be losing very much outside of your best player in Daniel Gafford, but there were so many other roster spots that you thought might be filled by players that were coming back. But then again, that's under the previous coach. Under the new coach, he's got an obvious philosophy of being able to rebuild rosters through a transfer portal, whether it's graduate transfers, in which you'll have 2 probably starting for you next year, and 4-year transfers, in which there are a couple that are going to be sitting, maybe a third that'll be sitting this next season, but will play big roles after they sit this 1 year. And that also means they're going to be odd men out. And it seems that Justice Hill might have been that odd man out. Again, though, Tye, you saw the writing on the wall about this a while back. And even there were questions about how Justice would fit into the basketball team, even if Mike Anderson was still the head coach. And it seems that, you know, and now, and I'm sure, and I know that he's met with the coaches, talked with the coaches, but the tweet comes out earlier this morning, right after the morning rush got off the air. Boy, bad timing. Bad timing. Couldn't get the morning rush going to 10 o'clock because Justice's tweet comes out at 9:11 this morning. Word for word, it says, I entered my name in the transfer portal to assess other basketball opportunities that may be available to me. Now, that's interesting because this is someone who's in the transfer portal that literally never saw the court at Arkansas. He saw the court as a practice player, and that was it. However, I hope to visit with the Razorback football staff here in the near future to evaluate potential football opportunities with my Hog family. He says he's grateful for Coach Anderson and the staff for giving him the opportunity to be a Razorback. He's enjoyed learning from Coach Musselman and the basketball staff at Arkansas, trusting in God, leaning not on my own understanding, knowing my path will be directed. Signed, Justice Hill. You know what his previous tweet said? The previous tweet that he had sent had come from 22 days ago, May 28th. And it was the answer to the, at that point, seemingly unfounded rumors about his entering the transfer portal, which came from Trey Schapp at 103.7 The Buzz in Little Rock. And Justice's previous tweet, the tweet that came out prior to the one that he sent out this morning, announcing he's in the transfer portal, it said, y'all be bored, LOL, at the University of Arkansas. Well, how bored are we now?
It happened. And you mentioned the relationship with Mike Anderson that was confounded because of Fitzhill, his father's relationship with Mike Anderson, who Dudley pointed this out. Fitz was the Arkansas football recruiting coordinator while Mike was the Arkansas men's basketball coordinator. So they have had a relationship for a while. I think there's a Melvin Watkins and Fitzhill relationship connection as well somehow. So they've had a relationship for quite some time. Now he's up at St. John's, as you mentioned. Eric Musselman has taken over as the head coach. I don't know how many times we've mentioned on the program the question that he might be a better football player than basketball player. I've seen him play both sports. I tend to think he's a better football player than a basketball player. Now, I can't get in the analytics. I can't get into depth-by-depth breakdown of his position at quarterback, and then he played wide receiver before QB, and then his position at point guard and break it down like someone else could in depth. But I'm telling you, just from just a casual viewing standpoint, a guy that's watched him a couple different times, I think he's a better football player. So that's the interesting part of this whole equation, is him not playing basketball at Arkansas, but he made it very clear in the statement that he put out on social media that he has interest in playing football now at the University of Arkansas. And what you gotta get into is the roster spots at wide receiver. You just took Canelon, and I can't think of his brother's name. Is it Justin? I think it's Justin Canelon, the kid over from Southern. That's Canelon's older brother that was leading wide receiver at Southern. I'm blanking out on his first name, but it seems like the depth there is pretty good, and that's where you just assume he would play. So I'm curious in these next couple weeks or however long this process takes to unfold if Chad Morris and the football staff ultimately decide that Justice is worthy of a scholarship. Maybe this is me being biased because he's an LRCA grad. Maybe this is me being biased because he came on the show. I think he should be given an opportunity and given a chance to play the U of A. But I understand from Chad Morris and his staff perspective if they decide it ultimately it's not a good idea, because it seems like there's a lot of depth there. And I know you lost Nance, I know you lost Petway, but the biggest strength, arguably, of this recruiting class was either the wide receivers or the defense line. Most people lean wide receivers. So that, I think, plays a lot into his future, not in basketball, but at football at the U of A.
Well, and so, I mean, the other position is quarterback, just like, that's what we know him as that quarterback. And it's, I don't know if depth is the word that you use yet, because, we don't really know, at least as far as is concerned playing for Arkansas, what Ben Hicks is like and what Nick Starkel is like. KJ Jefferson seems to have, everything that you would want to run the Chad Morris offense, but I think he's just about to report to campus pretty soon. The only quarterback that's on the roster right now that is taking a snap for you just finished pitching in the College World Series, Connor Noland. And so you kind of, who the quarterback battle is going to be. It's between Ben Hicks and Nick Starkel, at least for this year. And then it seems pretty cut and dry that Starkel would be a front runner to be the starting quarterback for the 2020 season. And then, then there's KJ Jefferson. You got Chandler Morris now coming in for 2020. Where does Justice Hill fit into that conversation too? There's already, again, depth isn't the word, but it's a crowded room for one position. And I kind of feel the same way about the position that he would have been playing at basketball. It's as at the point guard position. There's only so many minutes you can get on the court, and you wonder where the opportunities would have been for him.
And typically those guys play a lot more than other positions, and Jalen Harris seems to be in pretty good shape. Now, again, I can't be the person that can go in depth on that, but it seems like he played a lot of minutes last year. Typically point guards play the most out of any teammate, and so that being said, as you were stating, Phil, it's the least amount of minutes that can be spread out amongst the position.
So he's looking for a new basketball program while still at the same time testing the waters for Arkansas football. This is really, again, this gets into, this fits a little bit with Justice. Just like he just doesn't seem to be a usual or normal or regular student athlete, and just the way that he even came to campus early, and is in the transfer portal without ever playing a minute for the team before he even really was a freshman. He was a pre-freshman. It was like he was still a high school senior that was practicing with the team, learning about what campus life was like. Was he taking classes? I think it's just an interesting.
I can't tell you that.
Again, it's an interesting situation now to also be thinking about, well, I might play football at Arkansas if they'll offer me the scholarship and if there's room for me, but I think I might be playing basketball somewhere else. So now he's not just torn between two sports. He's torn between, theoretically, the school that he's at right now and some other theoretical school that maybe he'll go to at some point. There's a lot of decisions to be made, really, in a short period of time.
Yeah, it's a moving target for sure. And you think about the kid's athleticism. Phil, he finished second in the high jump 5A state championship, and he finished fifth in the long jump. If you've ever seen this kid play football, he's electric. He is all over the field. He's got shake and bake, juke moves, whatever type of adjective, adverb that you want to call it. He's got it on the football field. I saw in the state championship. I saw it a couple other times. There's that classic Huddle highlight, the Huddle Twitter account that puts out a ton of high school highlights, put it on its account where he's just leapfrogging a defender. So those highlights have to at least entice Chad Morris and his coaching staff. But kind of the point I want to ask you, Phil, to come back to basketball side of things, how does this sit with fans when Eric Musselman's letting, and this guy isn't the equivalent to the chosen one of a Darren McFadden or a Bobby Portis or someone like that, but this is a pretty well-liked kid it's got a lot of good connections within the state. This is interesting to me because it's a Little Rock kid, Fitzhill obviously being his father. How does this sit with fans that it seems like Eric Musselman ultimately, and again, we don't know 100% what happened behind closed doors in their relationship, but it seemed like just from our perspective that Eric Musselman and Justice ultimately decided that it was better off for him to either play basketball somewhere elsewhere or play on the football team. How does that sit with fans, Phil?
Well, I don't know how it sits with fans, but for me, it doesn't register all that much as far as impact is concerned for the basketball program. I just, and another level of the conversation here is about the relationship between father and coach, between coach and kid, that goes deeper than just being recruited by somebody that you admire and see on television and has the power to grant you a scholarship to a place that you'd like to play. These are friends. These are almost family, I think, in some cases. It's a different thing. It's a much different thing. And that's not how Eric Musselman would be looking at Justice Hill. And it's not a negative thing about their relationship. It's just they're not that close. And to me, it almost seems like, I know Justice's legend throughout the state has grown partially, not just because of his athletic ability and his achievements on the field, but this has been a public, over the airwaves, high school athletic career because of his father, because of his relationships with people in certain radio stations, and that's, that's a whole other level of this conversation too, and that's why I don't really know if it registers that much with me. I can't speak for the fan base. I just don't know what kind of impact he would have had for the basketball team to begin with, and that's to me where it's got to be. Whether you're going to help this team win games, that's the only thing that has to matter. And it just seems obvious that at least in Eric Musselman's mind, it wasn't the case.
And if this was more of a high caliber player, and I'm not trying to belittle Justice, I'm not trying to tear him down or anything, but he's a 3-star point guard. He's a good basketball player, but I don't know if he can live up to the hype that was kind of brought alongside him before he came into Arkansas.
Could you imagine what it would have been like, too? I mean, he would have been the only freshman. There's not a single freshman on this team next year. Not one.
Yeah, it would have been interesting and maybe he would have developed faster. And again, let's go back to this one point. He put his name in the transfer portal. Technically, he could still end up at the U of A. Now,
sure,
I think that scenario is probably the farthest one from the possibility of what's going to come out of this outcome. But
I love that. That always comes after the word transfer portal. It always comes it's like how we always have to say when we're watching a video review and say, well, there's got to be incontrovertible evidence. You always have to say that. We always have to say, well, there's a chance he might be back at that university. How many of those kids actually go into the portal and then go back to the same school?
You could do like Brew McCoy over at USC, go to Texas, and then decide to go back to USC. I doubt that would happen with
a retransfer.
A retransfer. And I you know what, there was a player who got re-recruited. I think it was a Washington quarterback that got re-recruited back to Washington. I think Peterson reeled him back in. And that's just the dilemma that coaches today have to deal with, not only in football but basketball as well. The fact that this transfer portal is out there and so many more kids are using it and whatnot. But you know what? Just for personal reasons, if Musselman decides, hey, basketball's not your future here, you're welcome to look elsewhere, or you can try out for the football team, and Chad decides, hey, you know what? We're going to give you a scholarship. I hope, from obviously personal reasons, I hope that happens because I would like to see him on the football field rather than on a basketball court on another team. Clay Henry just texted me and made a really good point that we haven't mentioned. The guy can play defensive back too. I think we're kind of just lumping him into just the wide receiver, maybe the quarterback position. But I forgot, and I think he played this. Now, I was out of school at this point. I was either in college or out of college when Justice was in high school at Little Rock Christian. I believe he played DB at least in 9th and 10th grade. Don't hold me to that 100%, but I know at one point in his career at Little Rock Christian, he played some DB. The guy's just fast. And you know as well as I do, Phil, Arkansas could use some cornerbacks because they are in desperate need of improving on the defensive side of the football. I know the offense was looked at a lot of times this season being down, but it was both sides of the football. So if he could play DB and be good at it, absolutely throw him in there.
So it sounds to me that his position isn't really quarterback. It isn't really wide receiver. It's ATH. You'll see that they put it there on high school rosters. It says, they said, "What's your position?" Athlete. That makes sense. That makes sense in the sport of football. I think that's what he is.
And that's what Nikki was telling us about Blaine Toll, the kid out of Hazen, the other day. He's listed as an athlete, and
6'5", 240?
Yeah, he could play tight end. He could play defensive end, and she even talked about the opportunity for him to bulk up and play offensive lineman. And you think about the various different styles of players that have kind of listed, and I don't think Jason Peters was listed as an athlete, but that guy's a left tackle and in the NFL, and he at the time was
him he's not an athlete.
Yeah, he's played tight end in Arkansas. I remember talking to Marcus Spears about that during SEC Nation when they came down this past year, and he was like, Jason Peters was playing tight end lined up against us, and he was just in awe and in shock. He's like, I remember that dude. That dude was huge. So you can never have too many athletes on your team that can be unique and play different positions, because that gives just more opportunities, and it gives more. It opens up not the playbook, but it opens up the position groups for coaches to ultimately decide where you need to be to help the football team.
So there's one last piece of this Justice Hill story that deserves mentioning. Because my friend Trey Schapp, who I am friends with and have known for a long time, he took quite a beating over social media, over airwaves, including, I think, this station on a different show, for reporting a rumor that turned out not to be true at that very moment. Now, I don't remember what Trey tweeted necessarily, but I know, if he put a date specific on it, or this is happening at this certain time.
So he said it on Justin West's show, and then Justin tweeted it out. So he didn't actually tweet anything out. He just told him on the airwaves.
This is while he was at Sandestin, right?
Correct.
At the spring meeting, at the SEC spring meeting.
At the meetings I wish you and I could attend next year, but you're going to be calling a good baseball team next year, unfortunately.
Right.
Tough.
So this exonerates Trey, as far as I'm concerned, because he got information. It turned out to be true. Maybe not at the exact moment that he said it was happening, but maybe he's not so bored now. So kudos to Trey. I mean, the guy did find the information, and it did turn out to be true. But again, it was also the sort of thing that I think any one of us, when we were talking about this throughout the season, and I feel the same way about like the Connor Nolan, what sport are you going to play conversation now. You got a crystal ball. You can look into that crystal ball, knowing the factors that go into these decisions, and you almost can see the way that this is playing out. Now, I didn't know that he'd be looking to play football at Arkansas and then looking at other basketball schools, but you could kind of see the writing on the wall for a while now involving Justice Hill.
If you're going to exonerate Trey, I have to give credit to a friend of the program, Wynn, who actually texted me this after the morning rush yesterday morning, saying, I think Justice, he hurts it. And it's hard. Phil, we're in the position, we talked about sourcing a couple weeks back, where we're not ever going to say something or put something out there with about two or three, at least two, most of the time 3 people telling us that, hey, this is happening.
Well, at least we're not going to place it out there as fact. We'll say, you know what, we might just be completely full of crap here, but this is what we're saying.
Maybe I should have done that yesterday, because the guy texted me yesterday, hey, Justice is not going to play on Arkansas basketball team next year. And I tried to get more information out of him. He said, I got it through the grapevine. I'm like, well, I'm not going to take that to air through the like who the heck would say
the grapevine is not a source?
Yeah, I can't really justify that as a source, but I will, kind of like you did with Trey Biddy, or not Trey Biddy, excuse me, don't want to say that. Trey Schapp, I will exonerate my friend Wynn for questioning his judgment yesterday, because he did give me this information yesterday morning.
Oh, I heard it through the grapevine, Ty. Not much longer would you be mine.
Can't use that. Like, you just can't use that.
I did. Sorry about that. Hey, by the way, we've been telling you about upgrading your evening on the Avenue at 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge at 906 Garrison Avenue. But did you know that you can also treat your appetite on the Avenue at 906? They now have a top chef on staff that has come up with lunch and light dinner items that you're not going to find anywhere else, like the chicken pyro or the Cubana. Or if you like wings, they're jumbo and roasted with honey bacon jam. Yum, this sounds incredible. They also have salads, flatbreads, and desserts, coffees for lunch or dinner, and it's all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Remember what's making them famous, though. That's top shelf wines and liquors, beers that are premium, as well as the most popular brands of cigars available in the state. Find 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on Facebook for more specials and events. Sample, indulge, and escape at 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Back after a quick break on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You're listening to Halftime.
Kofer's Boat Center, your authorized Mercury dealer, has been helping our customers create a lifetime of family memories for over 45 years. Kofer's carries the brands you trust like low aluminum fishing boats, low pontoons, and Bayliner powered by Mercury. Fish the finest in Triton tournament bass boats to fit every budget. Or come check out the best-selling towboats in the industry from Malibu and Axis, ready to create the best wakes and surf waves you've ever experienced. Stop by and see all the options available for your family's time on the water at Kofer's, or visit our website at kofers.com.
Proclaim Construction has been in the industry for a combined 50 years, and they can meet any needs you may have for your home or business. Proclaim is your insurance restoration specialist, and they're offering a no-cost, limited-time free roof inspection, and they'll make your insurance claim if necessary. Whether it's basic repair, remodel, or complete makeover, Proclaim Construction guarantees your satisfaction with the best warranty in the business. Proclaim has references for your peace of mind, and they're licensed, bonded, and insured for your protection. Call 479-407-9598.
Does this sound like you?
Or is this more like it?
Or maybe your inner biker sounds like...
No matter what motorcycle motor is music to your ears, Shelter Insurance has a policy that's music to your wallet.
Shelter insures your fun stuff. Motorcycles to riding mowers, ATVs to RVs, bikes to bass boats. If it rides, rolls, or floats, we can cover it. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Shelter agents Randy Milam or Brad Howe about a free insurance review.
Whitson Morgan Motor Company in Clarksville has up to $11,000 off select Ford F-150 pickups. Get 0% up to 72 months on select models. Whitson Morgan offers free home delivery within 250 miles of Clarksville. That is just one of the many fantastic deals you'll find at Whitson Morgan Motor Company. Whitson Morgan Motor Company has always served the River Valley with the best deals. A company that customers appreciate, making buying easy. Whitson Morgan, exit 58 off I-40 in Clarksville.
If you needed major surgery, you probably wouldn't choose a doctor who's never been to medical school. So when your car needs major repairs after a collision, why would you take your car to a body shop that's never been trained? Evans Body Shop is among only 10% of collision repair businesses to meet the industry's highest training standards as a gold class shop. We know the latest repair techniques, how to find hidden damage, and how to repair your car's critical safety features so they work properly again. With the safety of your vehicle and your family at stake, choose trained repair professionals. Choose Evans Body Shop,
where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Want to have more than your average home? D&D Flooring is a simple choice. You can choose to have excellent customer service and design assistance with D&D Flooring. Wood, vinyl, carpet, to beautiful window treatments, professional installation every time. 0 financing options available. Come see D&D Flooring large showroom and selections. D&D Flooring, serving the River Valley and surrounding areas. 1323 Main Street, Van Buren, or call 474-0533.
On July 1st, AOG will launch many exciting improvements to serve you better. AOG is redesigning your natural gas bill, replacing our customer information system, and updating our website, customer account portal, and online payment processor, so you'll have access to real-time data, payment options, and account history, all from the convenience of your computer or mobile device. Because of these upgrades, your AOG account number will change on your July bills. For details, visit AOGC.com.
This is the Morning Rush.
Lisa is in Northeast Arkansas. What's going on, Lisa?
I just expect at least 6 or 7 wins this year. And if we don't get at least to a bowl, I will be disappointed. Now, I won't jump off a cliff or a grain bin out here or anything like that, but I'll think about it. You know what I mean? I will think about it.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Halftime is brought to you by 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your evening on the Avenue. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
And I just want to say, when my time comes, I want to be buried face down so that anyone who doesn't like me can kiss my ass.
Oh, Ty, mixing a couple of good things in here. One, you got your halftime homework in for the rejoin. That's Gloria, of course, which isn't just an NHL celebration song for the Blues. Of course, it was featured prominently in Flashdance, which I forced Ty to watch last night, and he actually did it. Then the other thing, too, I mean, you've combined that. That's a line from, what is that, Malcolm in the Middle?
That 70s show. Close.
That 70s show. That's right. That 70s show. And that basically,
Foreman.
They stole that line from Bob Knight. They literally stole that line from Bob Knight.
Did they actually?
Absolutely. That's a Bob Knight line all the way.
All right, tell me the origin.
And he probably stole it from somebody else.
Tell me the origin then, because I haven't heard that.
Man, I mean, he might have said that at a pre-Final Four practice that Indiana was holding at Assembly Hall before they traveled to wherever the Final Four was being played.
Okay.
I think that's where it comes from. But I know I've heard Bobby Knight utter those exact words.
That's awesome.
Yes. So they know where to get their script writing from Bobby Knight. If you want to find a man who's great at playing the character of Get Off My Lawn, there you go. It'd be Bob Knight. Robert from Fort Smith is on the line. What's up, Robert?
Hey, guys. Y'all talked about Chad Morris's son coming about a week or two ago or so. And, if I was his son, I hate to say this, but I'd be, Dad, I love you, but I'm going to Clemson to play for Rain. I don't see you getting one, but, and then, two, guys tell me if he does come up, when he comes up there and let's say he plays, I think the kid's damned if he does and damned if he don't, because if he don't win, they're going to catch more grief than it was either way. And I just see what y'all thought about it.
Well, it's not the full damned if you do, damned if you don't, because if you do and you win, then they're going to love you, and it doesn't matter who your dad is. If you sling it all over the yard and you got big numbers and you're leading the team to victories, nobody's going to care who your father is.
And I know Ruskin has talked about this several times, and I know we brought it up on this show. If he does not succeed at Arkansas and if he doesn't end up being good, and the key is both of these things have to occur. If Jacoby Criswell lights it up for North Carolina, then you're going to have a lot of people questioning this decision, and I think that would be okay based on what would occur. But, as you mentioned, if Chandler Morris shows out and shows up and ends up being the starting quarterback and has a successful SEC career, no one cares who his father is. That's going to be the ultimate tandem. We always talk about how it seems like every ESPN, CBS, whatever network that Arkansas is on, the other team, the other player, the other coach, they get the spotlight. You're telling me if a kid is starting to dominate in the SEC and be really well with his father as the head coach, that you wouldn't be in the spotlight, that Arkansas wouldn't get national attention? Holy cow, Phil. Yeah. Media would be all over that story because you haven't had it. We talked about this the other day. When's the last time you've had a quarterback and a head coach in a prominent school, in a prominent conference? We couldn't think of an occasion. That would be incredible and the key word, if he succeeds at Arkansas, because the media would love it, and then Arkansas fans would eat that up.
Can you imagine, though? I mean, I thought it was funny the way that Robert put it. If you're Chandler Morris and you're being recruited by Clemson too, you say to your dad, Dad, I think I'd like to compete for a national championship, and I just don't see it happening where you are. Talk about cruelty. Talk about cruelty. That would be a really great way to, come down the stairs in the morning and share a glass of orange juice with Dad.
Yeah, that'd be some motivation if you're Chad Morris to hear that from your own flesh and blood. I'll tell you what, there was actually a kid out of Texas, 4 or 5-star running back or wide receiver. I know he's a skill position player. He was asked about why he wasn't considering Texas. He was considering Oklahoma, I think Alabama, and a few other high-prominent schools. And he said he didn't feel like Texas was in championship contention, competing for it. If you're Tom Herman and if you're the Texas football team, you hear that crap, that ought to light a fire up your you-know-where. If you're not motivated enough after losing to Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship, there's got to be something wrong with you after hearing that. You have to be ticked off, hacked off, pissed off after hearing that. If the hypothesis or hyperbole, what's it called? the possibility of Chandler telling Chad, well, I think I'm going to Clemson because they have a chance to win. If I'm Chad, I use that as motivation. It would never happen, I don't think, but at least there's a possibility of picturing it, Phil.
The other thing I wonder about with Chad Morris, we'll go to Bob Holt in a moment here. Remember, I think it was, October? You're talking about how much of the percentage of the playbook had been installed. I forget, it was like 25 or 30%. And while he didn't throw anybody under the bus about this, but I remember Chad Morris kind of laying it at the feet of the quarterbacks, saying it's really about retention of the offense and the understanding of how to run it. Now, with all the other things that were wrong on the offensive unit this last year, retention of the playbook and knowledge of the playbook was one of them. So, and the head coach was publicly out there saying this. So you kind of wonder, if you're not going to recruit your son, what happens when he has a bad game and has a couple of bad games, or maybe 3 in a row if he's playing for you? What public statements come out then? And I'm not saying that he has to go out and rip his son. I'm just these are some of the delicate moments that you have to think about going into what'll be a really interesting 4 or 5 years. Whenever he gets to campus. Before we go to Bob Holt, anybody out there looking for a new car, you know where you've been going for the last 80 years. It's Rhodes Chevrolet, a name that you can trust. Rhodes has always been dependable in the car buying and car owning experience. From the first time you walk into their showroom, you'll be treated like family. That's part of the family-owned dealership and service department that has served the River Valley for over 8 decades. Find your next dependable vehicle today at Rhodes Chevrolet, 2800 Alma Highway in Van Buren, or RhodesChevy.com. Rhodes Chevrolet has been dependable since 1934. Bob Holt coming up after the break. It's ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
Shooters shoot. You're listening to Halftime.
Proclaim Construction has been in the industry for a combined 50 years, and they can meet any needs you may have for your home or business. Proclaim is your insurance restoration specialist, and they're offering a no-cost, limited-time free roof inspection, and they'll make your insurance claim if necessary. Whether it's basic repair, remodel, or complete makeover, Proclaim Construction guarantees your satisfaction with the best warranty in the business. Proclaim has references for your peace of mind, and they're licensed, bonded, and insured for your protection. Call 479-407-9598.
When you think about the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery, you think about winning. And with more than 500,000 life-changing scholarships awarded so far, you can think about winners like Cole, who won the chance to study psychology at the University of Arkansas, or Miriam, who won an education from Arkansas Tech, or Rafa, who won a scholarship to UA Fort Smith, the first in her family to go to college. Apply for your scholarship now at scholarships.adhe.edu. This is winning.
Right now at Randall Ford, sales tax paid. You heard right. Sales tax paid on all new and used vehicles in stock. Sales tax paid. Plus, we want your trade. Randall Ford is paying top dollar for your trade with a huge selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Why buy anywhere else? Stop in today. Sales tax paid and top dollar for your trade. Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers, or online at randallford.com. 4th oldest Ford dealer in America with approved credit. See dealer for details.
Hi, I'm Doug Johnson. My mom and dad founded Razorback Camper Sales 50 years ago. It all started back in 1969 on the corner of St. Louis and Airport Road in Hot Springs. Spending time with family and helping our customers make lasting memories is what we've been doing for the last half century. Isn't that right, Mac?
That's right, Papa!
From all of us at Razorback Camper Sales, thank you for the last 50 years.
Edwards Auto Center in Roland has a newly remodeled facility with a greater selection of vehicles, and you will enjoy a relaxed, no-pressure sales experience. If your credit score has been an issue, Edwards' signature Buy Here, Pay Here program is a part of their superior customer service. Some restrictions may apply. Edwards has helped folks achieve their dreams of auto ownership and providing quality used vehicles for more than 30 years. Visit the newly remodeled Edwards Auto Center 3 miles west of the Garrison Bridge. The first car dealer on the right, or log on at edwardsautosalesinc.com. Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling has a new owner, Andy Herod, and he is ready to make your auto body repairs today. If you live in Barling, Central, Lavaca, or Charleston, Colorworks is your local auto body repair shop. Andy provides superior auto body repair and paint work in addition to working with your insurance company to make your claim as easy as possible. If you have a collision and need repairs, ask for Andy at Colorworks, 1206 4th Street in Barling across from CV's, or call 434-2639.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Is this your place? No, I live with my mom. Oh. Yeah. You hungry? Hey, Ma! Can we get some meatloaf? Chaz, I think I'm okay. I had a bite right before I came over.
Bob Holt joining us right now from the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. And Bob has been writing for the Democrat-Gazette and covering Arkansas athletics since before Flashdance came out, Tye Richardson. I think a couple years before. Bob, I've been trying to explain to Tye just how big of a cultural touchstone Flashdance was. I'm going to assume that you might have seen this movie. Do you remember what that was like, how that hit so big in the 80s?
Oh, yeah, I remember when it came out. Yeah, I think it was a small-budget film. The female lead, whose name escapes me.
Jennifer Beals.
She was very attractive and did a great acting job, and she kind of burst on the scene, you might say. And, yeah, Flashdance, that was I remember the songs were real big hits, and I can't remember. I'm sure it made about 10 times what its budget was or something like that. I would be willing to bet.
Well, I got Tye to watch it, and he'll be doing a full report on it later on in hour number 2. But I want to talk to you. You know, we got a couple things to get to, obviously, with the College World Series and Arkansas's baseball season ending. But you'd written about Daniel Gafford in the Democrat-Gazette today, and the NBA draft starts later tonight. And I think a lot of us are just surprised to see that Daniel Gafford right now, by many mock draftists, if that would be the correct term, have him going in the second round. And I remember at moments last year, we thought potentially we would be watching a lottery pick, sliding back maybe now into the back of the first round. Second round pick sounds like a surprise to a lot of us.
Yeah, I hadn't been keeping up with the draft the last couple weeks because I was so immersed with baseball. But as a matter of fact, it was funny. We were out at dinner Tuesday night, and I said, I think the draft's like the 25th or something. I Googled it, and I was like, oh, it's Thursday night. I better start doing some work on this. And, I was looking up all the mock drafts. I know ESPN did something Tuesday night that I watched, and he wasn't among. They just did the first round. He wasn't on there, which kind of surprised me. And then, there's a million mock drafts out there, but I looked up about 15 or so. And a lot of them don't even have second rounds. But the ones that did, they had him going, usually between 33 and 40, sometimes 46. But, I was surprised because I think, we thought Daniel, if he had a good year, and I thought he had a pretty good year, would maybe be a lottery pick, certainly a first-round pick. But, NBA teams can be very particular. There were some guys, Nicholas Claxton from Georgia, who I thought was very similar to Daniel in terms of he was a 6'11" athletic guy. You see him in a lot of the first round, in a lot of the mock drafts. So maybe he moved ahead of Daniel for whatever reason. These guys do multiple workouts. I bet Daniel worked out for 10 or 12, maybe more teams, and so maybe they see something that raises a little bit of a red flag, but they have to love his athleticism, his upside, the ceiling, the motor he's got. So there'll be a spot for him on an NBA team. Now he might, go between a G League team and an NBA team if he's not getting a lot of playing time. But I don't have any doubts he'll play in the NBA.
Talking with Bob Holt, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. He's been covering the Razorbacks since 1978. Bob, I thought that was going to be almost our entire conversation was Daniel Gafford, his draft projections, what you thought about him. But we got big news a little after 9 o'clock this morning that Justice Hill has entered himself in the transfer portal. Were you surprised to see that news?
Not really, because obviously with the way the numbers were over on basketball, somebody was going to be gone. And they seem to be very, very guard-heavy, so I figured it'd be one of the guards. I didn't know if it'd be Justice Hill or not, but that's kind of logical because, he wasn't one of Eric Musselman's signees. And, he has football, whether it's at Arkansas or somewhere else, is an option. I noticed in his tweet he didn't rule out playing football for Arkansas. I don't know if he's looking for somewhere to play basketball primarily or play football primarily, or maybe at a school where he could do both. It'd be hard to do that like a Power 5 school. Maybe there's another school he could go out there in 2 sports. But no, I really wasn't a surprise because with the way the numbers are in basketball, somebody was going to have to leave. So I guess we'll have to see how that goes. Whether or not he decides to stay at Arkansas and try to play football, they obviously have to have a scholarship for him if he's going to do that, or if he decides he's better off somewhere else.
So, Bob, you mentioned that scenario, that possibility. Do you think Chad Morris should offer him a scholarship to play football at Arkansas?
Well, I honestly don't know what their exact scholarship situation is, and maybe guys they have, okay, we've got this earmarked for this guy to go on scholarship in the spring semester, or this is a guy we're going to add. I mean, I do think he has Justice has a good upside in football. I would say if and I'm just speculation, if the coaches feel like he's a good fit for their system, they have a scholarship available, yeah, I'd offer the kid, but I really don't know what their, long-term thinking is, because you can't just think about, this season. You have to be thinking for, 2, 3, 4 seasons even, in terms of getting your scholarships balanced, 25 a year, 85 total.
Bob Holt joining us from the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, as usual on a Thursday. And, Bob, you were over at the College World Series and saw the 2 one-run losses up close. This was a really good baseball team this year. But one chink in the armor were one-run games. 5 wins, 8 losses in games decided by 1 run. They lost 20 games this year, 8 of them by 1 run. Why do you think the team had troubles in 1-run games this year?
Yeah, it's funny. I was looking that up, but it looked like that was going to be another 1-run game, and I was kind of surprised. I guess they were 5-7 before that game, and I was surprised they weren't a little bit better. I didn't cover all those 1-run games, but I covered some of them. I think usually it was, something would happen late with the bullpen, and I think they had a very good bullpen. I mean, you look at they had three relievers who were drafted in the top 9 rounds, I think it was. But I think in a lot of those games they had leads. Obviously, they never had a lead against Florida State, but I think the bullpen maybe had, whether or not it was getting a guy hit by a pitch or maybe an inopportune walk. They had some issues with the back end of the bullpen in those losses, and just straining runners. The inability to get the big hit. They got the time runs on, no outs, top of the order up against Texas Tech, and couldn't get anybody in. They had the go ahead run on several times against Florida State and couldn't get that in. I think 3 times they had a guy at third base and couldn't get him in. So I think it was a combination of just not being able to get that big hit at the right time, and then also just some bullpen issues there in late innings.
I think if there's one area that I'd like to see improvement upon next year, and this is definitely one area where the best players that are returning can improve. Although you don't want Casey Martin or Heston Kjerstad to change what makes them special, and some of the aggressiveness and big swings are the reasons that they are the players that they are. But I think the 2 of them strike out a little bit too much, and I think overall the team struck out a little too much.
Yeah, Casey, it's hard to knock his game the other day because he had a triple and a double, but the other 3 times he struck out. So, yeah, a lot of times with him it seemed to be kind of an all-or-nothing thing, and you just like to, get put the ball in play. You see some of those tough, the other night when Mississippi State came back on Auburn, I remember I was not at that game. I was watching it on TV and just remember thinking, they just keep putting the ball in play, and you had the throwing error, but there were a lot of other hard-hit balls, like the game-winning hit, just, Chopper got over the pitcher's head and got up the middle, and a lot of times you just put the ball in play and put pressure on the defense, and good things can happen, especially when you got, speed, like the speed of a guy like Casey Martin. So, yeah, I'm sure that'll be a big emphasis in the off season is cutting down those strikeouts. Because a lot of times with Casey, it seemed like he'd get a big hit or he'd strike out. And that's just a tough thing when you don't even advance a runner or give yourself a chance by putting the ball in play.
Bob, I know you asked Casey and Heston the question about the possibility of them making it back for a 3rd consecutive year to Omaha. Do you think, I know the expectation, they have the sign coming outside the locker room when they walk into Baum-Walker Stadium, and I know that's just kind of the consensus from the team, from Dave Van Horn, the expectations that have been set. But do you think from the fan base perspective that Arkansas baseball fans set the tone, set the expectation that this team should be trying to get to Omaha every single year?
Yeah, I think Arkansas, the program they have, the way Dave Van Horn's added on to what Norm DeBryan really built from the ground up, or maybe below the ground. It was so far down when Norm took over. But, I think Arkansas fans, players, coaches, whoever, should have an expectation, not necessarily an expectation. I think it's a realistic goal to get to Omaha every year. Or just, let me rephrase that. It's a realistic goal to start every year with the goal of getting to Omaha. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get there. I mean, it's ridiculous for even the best programs to think you're going to go 5-6 years in a row. I guess TCU went 4 years in a row. I think LSU's had some runs like that. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but realistically, something's going to happen to derail you, whether it's injuries or just a bad break or running into a hot team or whatever. But I think it's a realistic goal every year. I think the goal used to be get to the NCAA tournament. And that's really a minimum now, because Dave's gone 24 out of 25 years or something at Nebraska and Arkansas. So it has to be something really weird like what happened in 2016 for them not to go. But now I think they have realistic expectations to get to the World Series. Now, it's not going to happen every year, but I think that programs reach the level where that's a realistic goal every year.
Bob, it continues to be a realistic goal for us to speak with you each Thursday. We always appreciate your time and your perspective. Thanks so much, and looking forward to talking to you next week.
Wasn't Flashdance filmed in Pittsburgh?
You got it. That's right. It's a Pittsburgh movie.
Let's go.
Another reason why I assigned it to Tye.
Okay, well, you guys take care.
All right, you got it. What a feeling. What a feeling to be talking with Bob Holt.
I'm so glad he knew that. I'm so happy he knew that, because that's one of the first things you mentioned. It's like, I'm going to assign you a movie that was based in Pittsburgh, and then you would go on to describe what it was. And I'll say this, I'll give you a little precursor to what we're about to talk about. It was corny, but I don't think it was as bad as you thought, and it was intended for you to think that I was going to think it was going to be.
Well,
it wasn't.
I'm glad you liked it. So it's a little.
I didn't say that. I just said it wasn't.
You didn't hate it.
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
That sounds good enough to me.
Yeah.
All right, very good. We'll step aside, but come back to wrap up the first hour of Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey, Bob. Doing good.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Tye Sports Radio.
World Class Fitness in Fort Smith is not like other gyms. Open 24/7 so you can work out however, whenever you want. With women's only workout area, free childcare, racquetball courts, and large free weight area, this is the gym for you. World Class Fitness is not that gym. There are no limitations to your goals, gains, or success. No contract and special discount pricing options available. So visit WCFit.com or stop by World Class Fitness today. Don't forget to try clean cooking for your meal prep needs.
It's Ram Truck Month at Williams Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Stigler. Get 0% APR financing for 72 months on 2018 and 2019 Ram 1500 Classics or 2018 Ram 2500 or 3500. Williams Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has a great selection of Ram trucks to choose from. Hurry, this offer ends July 1st. Come see us at Williams Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Stigler, Oklahoma. Some restrictions do apply. See dealer for details.
Tommy Kraft for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, controlled access, and card readers. Call the Fence Man for a quick, no obligations quote. 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
If you have experience transporting frozen and refrigerated goods and want to be part of a trucking family with insurance and be home every week, you need to contact Brent Higgins Trucking. Since 1997, Brent Higgins Trucking in Mulberry has been proudly delivering to and from various areas of the United States, including but not limited to Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Brent Higgins Trucking, where you're a name, not a number. Call them at 479-997-2366 or log on to BrentHigginsTrucking.com.
Do you love crab legs? Like you could eat your weight in crab legs? Kind of love them? Then get to the Catfish Kitchen in Van Buren every Tuesday night for all you can eat crab legs from 4 till 8. All the meaty, delicious crab legs you can hold. Plus all the fixins like coleslaw, beans, and the best hush puppies. Plus your drink, dessert, and ice cream are all included. It's only $44.95. That's all you can eat crab legs every Tuesday night from 4 till 8 at Catfish Kitchen, 727 Fayetteville Road at the top of Logtown Hill, across from the police station in Van Buren. Invest in your family this summer with a Doughboy above-ground pool from Burton Pools and Spas. Hi, Tommy Kraft here for Burton's. There's no better way to spend your summer than with a family in your own backyard. A Doughboy above-ground pool can make that fast, easy, and most importantly, affordable for this summer. Right now, save up to $800 off on select Doughboy above-ground pool packages. Everything you need to start enjoying this summer in your own backyard with a Doughboy above-ground pool. Doughboy above-ground pools are the highest quality above-ground pools on the market. And with these special discounts, payments start as low as $65 a month with your approved credit. And with the great staff at Burton Pools and Spas, you can count on a quality installation to make your backyard even more fun this summer. Check out Burton Pools and Spas online at burtonpools.com or find them on Instagram and Facebook. Burton Pools and Spas, 6121 0 Street in Fort Smith and just off I-49 at the 412 exit in Springdale. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Halftime is brought to you by 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your evening on the Avenue. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
And Blue!
Yes, sir.
Do you trust that I do not want to see you die here tonight?
Sir, yes, sir.
Blue, you're my boy!
Thank you, sir.
Tye, you're my boy. Connor Nolan's also my boy. And Connor Nolan is no longer going to be playing football at the University of Arkansas. This is turning out to be quite a day. Justice Hill says he's entering the transfer portal for basketball, looking potentially at football. Connor Nolan, 12 minutes ago, tweeted that he has decided to focus solely on his baseball career at the University of Arkansas. Has nothing negative to say about any of his football teammates or the coaches, whether they be the Coach Morris staff or the Brett Bielema staff. But again, this is the kind of thing. I mean, I want to call it's like June 20th, 2019, Tye, is like writing on the wall day. We've seen this stuff coming.
Phil, I'm pretty sure at the show's inception, you brought up this speculation, this conversation that Connor Nolan you think would ultimately decide baseball at the U of A. And at that point, I hadn't seen him play either sport live, so I couldn't make a just determination of what I thought was going to happen. So you called your shot Babe Ruth style from a long time ago, and you ultimately won out. So, and you kept pointing out things, and I kept pointing out the fact that there is a Friday night job on the line, a chance to be the guy on the baseball mound. And I think that, along with just it looked like he's more talented at baseball, ultimately led his decision to pick the Arkansas baseball team. They're not in there.
Well, now I don't know what this does for the scholarship situation for him or for football or for baseball, but I do think that this will be a really good decision for Connor Nolan's career as a baseball player at Arkansas and afterwards, because I think he's got the kind of body type, personality, pitchability. He could pitch at the next level. He's going to get really good over the next 2 years. We're going to get really good into the second hour of halftime. That's next on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Kofer's Boat Center, your authorized Mercury dealer, has been helping our customers create a lifetime of family memories for over 45 years. Kofer's carries the brands you trust like low aluminum fishing boats, low pontoons, and Bayliner powered by Mercury. Fish the finest in Triton tournament bass boats to fit every budget. Or come check out the best-selling towboats in the industry from Malibu and Axis, ready to create the best wakes and surf waves you've ever experienced. Stop by and see all the options available for your family's time on the water at Kofer's, or visit our website at kofers.com.
It's back. It's way back. Hello, this is Jack Dean with Road Chevy in Van Buren. Come in and hit a home run with these savings. Take home a new 2019 Silverado for as low as $29,988, or a new 2019 Chevy Trax with payments starting as low as $299 a month, or save up to $12,000 on a new 2018 Z701 Crew Cab while supplies last. Take a short drive and we'll go the extra mile for you. Road Chevrolet, exit 2A of 5540 in Van Buren. Find new road.
With approved credit, see dealer for details.
It's your piece of land. Your point of pride, your place of peace and quiet. Your yard means something to you. So mow like you mean business with a professional grade Gravely zero-turn mower. Gravely means comfort. Gravely means strength. Gravely means cutting precision. Gravely mowers mean business. Gravely, build to mow the distance.
Visit Bush Machine and Tractor, 73010 0th Street in Fort Smith, or at bushtractor.com.
White Office Machines in Fort Smith and Russellville is a proud supporter of Arkansas Razorback Athletics and this area's authorized dealer for Kyocera Document Solutions. And since they've been doing business in this area since 1929, they know a thing or two about the image industry's newest technologies, and White Office Machines delivers the best overall value with their Kyocera MFPs, printers, and high-speed equipment. White Office Machines, 122 Towson Avenue in downtown Fort Smith, 1304 South Arkansas in Russellville, and online at whiteoffice.com.
Play ball! At Michelob Ultra, we know it's not just about how much you work out every day. It's about how much you work into every day, too. So we brew our beer for those who realize that expending calories should never come at the expense of spending time with friends. Those who understand that just because you work out doesn't mean you can't go out. And that's why we brew Michelob Ultra to have 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and a crisp, clean taste. Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who live fit, live fun, live Ultra. Enjoy responsibly. 2018 Michelob Ultra Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams of protein, and 0 grams fat for 12 ounces.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Could see a few showers or thunderstorms tonight, especially across the south. That's where we'll see our best chance of widespread activity. Temperatures will drop down mid to upper 60s. Sunshine returning on Thursday, our high mid to upper 80s. More sunshine, temperatures warmer Friday into the lower 90s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Harry Robinson Buick GMC, where you always get more for your trade. Exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith. You can shop anytime at harryrobinson.com.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 72 days.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson.
You do a fantastic job on the radio. There's no one else in this league I'd rather listen to, so keep up the good work.
And Tye Richardson.
Been doing some homework, man. I appreciate the work you're putting in. Your show is really, really good, guys.
What were you doing there?
Communicating. Keeping up foreign relations. Giving him the bird. The finger.
Yes, I know the finger, Goose.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Thursday halftime, getting into the second hour on a news-breaking day as we, pretend to be journalists here on this fabulous show.
Heavy emphasis on pretend.
On pretend.
Even though both you and I, you were in at one point broadcast journalism in Indiana, right?
Absolutely. I went to journalism school. I believe in the tenets of journalism.
And I graduated
Doesn't mean I practice them at this moment on this television, on this radio show.
See, that's the key. Is you don't come across, you don't pretend to be a journalist, which some in this market pretend to be a journalist when they're not. We are just out in the open saying we're not. One works for IMG, one went to Arkansas. So
it's funny too, because before the word that we were talking last segment about Connor Nolan's decision, now public, to give up on football and concentrate on baseball. During the commercial break, Tye looked at me over our FaceTime situation here and says, "Did you know this was going down and not say anything? Did you?" And I'll be honest, I did not know. This is not a question I would have asked Connor Nolan in a personal moment, and I've gotten along with him very well in these last few months. So no, I had no idea. And I wasn't going to say sources, even if I did know. I'd be waiting for him to make his own announcement on it. That's what it is. The newsbreakers are Twitter now. Those are the newsbreakers. So Justice Hill makes the announcement earlier this morning, just after 9. No more Arkansas basketball, potentially Arkansas football, and potentially looking somewhere else to play basketball. And now Connor Nolan's going to be a full-time baseball player.
We have our Supercuts baseball spotlight coming up tomorrow, Phil. What are the odds that you could sway John Thomas and Connor into letting him come on and talk about this tomorrow?
Oh, boy. This is like some on-air show prep that we're doing here, discussing potential a potential guest.
You got some clout. You got some power. You got some. You can work your magic a little bit. I think you can make this happen.
We'll see. We'll do this show first. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But that does remind me, I do have. I got to figure out somebody to get on for our Supercuts Baseball Spotlight tomorrow. It used to be easy on a Friday if I was traveling with Arkansas baseball. I could just say to one of the players at breakfast, "Hey, you got 10 minutes?" And usually they do. Well, I'm about 150 miles away from those guys, and I don't think I'll be able to get any of them on the air, at least not at the snap of a finger.
And I'll say those interviews that you did solely with them were very good because it was a relaxed situation. It doesn't – sometimes when you have someone on the phone and they're not face-to-face and they can't see you, your body motions, just you interacting with them, they come across a little different or they're a little more closed up. But, I mean, you got some good stuff out of some people. I thought the interview with Goodhart, I think we played that last week, him talking the cockiness aspect. It's like there's a difference. We're just confident. Like baseball players here at Arkansas, we're confident. There were some good tidbits. I encourage everyone who didn't listen to some of the player interviews that Phil got this year, go back and listen to them in our archives and hitThatLine.com because Phil got some good stuff out of these guys.
Well, I also got some good stuff from you, Ty. Kept you up late, way past your bedtime. I mean, you're usually, for a guy who wakes up at 3 in the morning to do a 5 o'clock radio show, I know it's really a 6 o'clock radio show, but you got to treat it like an hour early. You're probably asleep by what, 7 in the evening? You stayed up until 11 o'clock to do your halftime homework.
As if.
I don't trust this kid any further than I can throw him.
I got a question. Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Get out of my class. Out! Get out!
I was still thinking of going back to school.
I do my homework now.
The millennial versus the middle-aged. It's time for halftime homework.
This is all about education and entertaining you at the same time. We're trying to teach him what it was like to live in, and I lived in the 1970s, but only for 3 years of that, and I don't remember much about it, and with the exception of a couple of Steelers Super Bowl parties that happened to fall on my birthday. So I don't remember much about living in the 70s. I do remember what it was like to live in the 80s, when aerobics were all of the rage, where leg warmers, big hair, were all the rage, and a certain movie made a giant cultural impact that I forced Tye Richardson to watch last night. I remember telling you last week, Tye, that I thought this might be kind of a little torturous for you. Turns out you enjoyed watching Flashdance. Maybe enjoyed isn't the right word. You just didn't hate it as much as I thought you would.
And I think when you mentioned it to me, you told me what the experience was going to be like, how I would have a distaste for the movie. I went in with very low expectations, and I think that kind of helped present the movie in a way that wasn't just awful. That being said, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was great. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was life-changing, but there was some good stuff came about it. Number one, this is not the first time where I've watched a movie where an icon or a star, a beautiful woman that you talk about, this case, Jennifer Beals, is a mom in a movie that I grew up watching when I was younger. So
well, this is just the natural, this is what happens when people get older.
Yeah, it's first of all, it speaks to their career, the fact that they can stay in the industry and just change roles over time, because you know how some people, they shell out after a couple movies, they have their one big hit and then they're done. But I think about Molly Ringwald in Breakfast Club, 16 Candles. I know there's another movie she's in that's not coming to mind. Help me. What's the other iconic movie she's in? 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink. That's the one. That's the one. She's a mom in this Netflix movie I watched a couple months ago. The same being with Jennifer Beals. She's in Flashdance. She's the main character in Flashdance, and she's the mom in Catch That Kid, which is a movie about these kids that rob a bank to help save their dad from cancer. And it's just funny because there's been several movie assignments this year and this past year that you've assigned me, Phil, and I'll be like, oh, this is the character from this movie that I watched 20 years down the line. And it's like, wow, she aged well. She was really, really cute when she was younger. And
this movie burst her onto the scene. Yeah. I mean, Jennifer Beals was one of the it actresses, from the early to mid 80s, and then kind of in a lot of people's minds almost disappeared for a few years then. I mean, she's had a long career. She still acts. But nothing quite hit the way that Flashdance did, which I think the music is a huge part of it because it is good 80s music, really good stuff. The dancing is another part of it because it's very creative dancing and catches your eye in so many ways, and artistic ways too. And it's got a rags to riches sort of a story as well, a little bit of a Cinderella aspect to it as well. So I'm glad you dug it. And it's a Pittsburgh movie, which also
adds to the allure, Phil.
As I've told you, even the worst movie in the world, if it was made in Pittsburgh, I'm going to think it's pretty entertaining.
Yeah, and it just had some aspects to it. She was nuts in that movie at times. She freaked out a couple of times, which was really funny.
That's what happens when you're working in a steel mill all day long.
That's true. It gets to you, I guess. But, yeah, it's crazy because she had the crazy – was that hairdo she had? Was that typical of women in the 80s to have that style of hair? Because –
well, keep in mind, this wasn't just – women that had big hair. Everybody had big hair then. I mean, you're talking the era of hair bands. I mean, the bigger your hair was, the better off you were going to be, and that went for both of the sexes, for men and for women. But her hair was, I think, prototypical of what you would see. A lot of hairnet. You know what I mean? A lot of hairspray. Probably a whole bottle.
Yeah.
For men and women too.
And I don't know if that would fly today's society. I think she would get looks walking to the grocery store, supermarket, gas station, wherever. But I was like, wow, she's beautiful rocking that. And she's a beautiful mom and to catch that kid. I was like, geez, she's whatever. But I always get told, Phil, that I have the characteristics and the haircut of a 90s kid. Like the Zach Morris, even though I do not embody Zach Morris, I'm more of Screech in that show. But I have the 90s hairdo. That's what all my friends say and people that occasionally I come into contact with. So I'm off one generation because I'm a 90s kid instead of a 80s kid.
I have the 40s hairdo. And when I say that, I mean the hair of someone that's 42 and has no hair. So I'm just envious to begin with. You're able to do that thing with your hair right down the middle. Have I heard that called a butt cut before? Maybe that's not the full one.
I don't know. I don't know what it's called, to be honest. That shows how cultured and how much style I am that I don't even know what the haircut I'm sporting.
I should give you like an assignment for halftime homework where I make you do what we all did as idiot kids, which was get a tail. Have a little tail at the bottom of the back of your neck. Oh, my God. You talk about the filthiest looking hairdo of all time. I was 13 years old with a rat tail. I mean, a small little rat tail. What the heck was I thinking?
I'm debating not cutting my hair until Arkansas wins an SEC game. I'm debating.
Me too.
But I'm scared that they could go 0 for again.
They get a chance week 2, man. That game at Ole Miss, they could win that one.
Yeah.
You could have your hair cut the next day, Samson.
But it's hard to see it's not hard. It's harder to see a game or a scenario where Arkansas will win. I think that Ole Miss game is a possibility. I think we mentioned Mississippi State and Missouri, but outside those 3 games, there's not a lot of potential for an SEC win muchwhere else. So I don't know if I have the gall to say I'm not going to cut my hair until Arkansas wins an SEC game, because if they end up going over this year, I'm not going to be cutting my hair till next probably September. Not this September, next September. And I don't need to be growing my hair out that long. It's long enough as it is. If it gets to that point, we might have some problems on the horizon with Tommy, and he might just rip it off with his bare hands.
All right, so you assigned to me. It's funny, too, because I'd watched one episode of Fuller House a couple of days ago.
Trash show. Ugh.
And something was missing from the show. Not the cheesiness, not the canned laughter, not the thought that the family is really just performing for each other, not for anybody else that's around. They're just performing for each other. It was the sweet sounds of these two.
Happy birthday to me!
Happy birthday, Michelle!
Do you know what happens today?
My circus party!
Why don't we take a little cone head upstairs while we get the big top all set up, huh?
No, I got a better idea. Michelle, let's go fix Daddy's car. Then after that, we can go for a special birthday drive, okay?
No way, Jose. I'm 3 years old.
Then you get to go.
Yay!
Just the syrupy cuteness of Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen, who played Michelle Tanner from 1987 through 1995 on Full House. They're fraternal twins, apparently, even though they look very much alike. Reading that they were fraternal twins.
Really?
Yes. And the reason that they played they played Michelle Tanner together they started their acting careers as babies. And in order to get around child labor laws for actors, they had to have 2 kids play the same role. That's how they got their start. And they're all obviously always known for Full House. But, I mean, they did plenty of other things as well once Full House was done. But I don't really remember watching any of that stuff. Nor were you going to force me to watch it either, okay? I watched your Max Keeble's Big Move. You know, I'm not watching any Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen movies, no matter how much you think you can try to assign that to me. It just wasn't going to happen. And, you know, I feel for these two because I think they're really – they have their own style and have been in the fashion world for years now. And I saw where even – who is it? Mary-Kate, the style of clothing that she sort of invented is referred to as the homeless look. I don't really know if that's the sort of moniker you'd want on a fashion type. It seems a little bit heartless, but at the same time, they created their own look. These two have made gobs of money through licensing, through intelligent marketing decisions, and through their fashion careers. And I think it's Mary-Kate is married to, I think, somebody that's like 30 years older than her.
30 years?
Something like that. I was looking it up.
What did I tell you about the age gap? What do you remember the math I told you when you're dating someone?
My father told me the math of, like, you know, the dating somebody younger. I think it's half the age adds 7 years.
That's correct.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
Howard's a good man because that's the correct formula to figure out if you're eligible to date.
Is it the same formula for an older woman to look for a younger? Why does it have to be the man that's looking for the younger woman? Why can't it be the other way around?
I've just always played the scenario that it's the man side of you. I don't have anything against women dating younger men. You do what you want to do. I'm coming from our perspective, Phil.
You're coming from an area of fantasy, I think. That's what you're doing. All right, so yeah, I mean, it was weird too because you assigned me somebody that, I mean, I was around in the 90s, and Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen were two of the more famous people, I think, out of the 90s, and we've been in the tabloids for years and years, and it's almost like the Gabor sisters, Zsa and Ava Gabor. You probably hadn't heard of them. They grew up also together, you know, in the public eye, and it's just interesting to see people that are in the public eye literally from when they are babies, to growing up in the public eye, and a lot of people call them weird in some cases. I mean, it's neither for you nor me to decide. They might be a little bit different, but they're also billionaires, so I think they're doing just fine.
Yeah, and you just gave me 2 tidbits, 2 facts of information that I didn't know about them. The fact that they're not identical but fraternal twins, and then also the child labor laws issues with Full House. I didn't know that was a way around it. There always seems to be a loophole when it comes to something like that, so that's kind of interesting. So good job. You actually fulfilled your assignment, and I did too. Your next assignment, Phil, and we talked about this a little off air. I know you happen to be dating the lovely lady, so I want you need to clarify with her that this is okay, that you're allowed to do this before you actually do, because I don't want her getting mad at me, her getting mad at you, and it's this blowing up in our face. But the phenomenon with millennials are these dating apps, and there's 3 in particular: Bumble, Hinge, and Tinder. Tinder's been around a little bit longer. Bumble and Hinge have kind of come about since I was in college the last few years. They all have their different styles. So with Bumble, you swipe right or left being you're not attracted to the girl, right being you are. And then if she also swipes right, she has to message you first before you can communicate. Tinder, it's a 2-way street. Hinge, it's you click on the person and you give her heart, or if you like a characteristic that she talks about or a fact about her, you click the heart, and then it's the message is sent to her, or vice versa with the girl sending it back to you. So I want you to do some research, and you tell me, if you were single, which app you think you would use the most, which app you most like, and just do some information digging on this. You did a good job with the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, the twins, and I think you're going to have fun. It seemed like when we were talking about this off air, you were excited for this assignment. But again, I want to nail this. I want to hammer this nail in the coffin.
Great, you're talking about a coffin in my relationship. I appreciate that.
Ask the lovely lady first before you do this assignment, because I don't want to get yelled at. So please do that for me first.
It's funny how you've assigned me something that I feel like I already know pretty well, Ty. I already feel like I know these things pretty well. It's okay to release in the public and for the public eye that I met the lovely lady on one of these lovely dating apps, all right? How do you think a guy that lives in Little Rock and works in Fayetteville and Fort Smith might actually be able to have a personal life at some point, going back and forth the way that I had been? I know Bumble fairly well. That's where we met. That is where the two of us actually came across each other for the first time. And here it is. As long as this show has been on the air, the relationship's been going too. So it's about, what, nine and a half months now?
Is there a correlation there? So if you and I had a falling out, do you think you and the lovely lady would have a falling out as well? So are we the line? Are you and I the line that holds your relationship with her together?
There's a correlation here. I hadn't quite figured it out. It's kind of like E.T. and Elliot. The two of them, just like they fed off of each other. Maybe lovely lady and you feed off each other. You don't even realize it. Trying to find a way to keep this dude happy somehow. Which, by the way, I'm incredibly happy with the both of you.
Thanks, buddy.
So, but I mean, I've already done the research into these apps. I've used them. I would use Bumble. That's the more, quote-unquote relationship app.
Okay, but this is more of a millennial thing. I think you and I can agree that...
It's not just a millennial thing. That's where you're wrong. This is a human being thing.
If that was to dig up the research of the generations and the characteristic of the people that use these apps and the clientele and the age gap, it would definitely be more tailored towards my age group. And all I'm asking is that your assignment's basically done then. I'm giving you an easy assignment. All I want you to do is do a little more information. And you mentioned Bumble. I think you've done Tinder. Get Hinge. I want you to see what Hinge is like. Just do a circle back of all three and then come back with a full report. It's going to be an easy assignment. I'm giving you an easy assignment, Phil.
I'll tell you how easy this assignment is later tonight when the topic is brought up with the lovely lady, all right? Because that's where the difficulty or the easiness comes into it, okay?
The obstacle that could await, yes.
Exactly. All right, here's your assignment. It starts with words that used to really have an impact on you when you'd hear them on a Thursday night on NBC.
Cheers is filmed before a live studio audience.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got.
You love Friends, all right?
Love
and
Friends.
I love Seinfeld. There's probably the two best shows of the 1990s. This was the best show of the 1980s.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name.
It's really all you're looking for in life, Ty, is just a place.
A sitcom.
Yeah, a sitcom. That's exactly right, where you get people that know exactly what you want when you're coming in to sit down, where the bar is owned by a former washed-up drunk pitcher named Sam Malone, and where this guy comes in every single day and gets the same greeting from the barflies.
Good afternoon, everybody. Oh. Do you know me? You know how to make it sound tempting, you fast talker. Well, I'm back.
Oh! What'll it be, Normie?
Transfusion with a head on it. Need everybody?
Norman?
Tell us what you know, Norm. God's in his heaven and something. How about a beer? Yeah, that's it.
Yep, Norm. Every time he'd walk in, you're going to start watching Cheers. Now, this is a very slow assignment because we get the entire summer now, all right? We get the entire summer. You don't have to binge watch the whole darn thing. But it is on Netflix. It is free for you if you've got your Netflix subscription, which I know you got. They got every single episode from the greatest show of the 1980s, Cheers. And you need to start watching it from the start. Make it to the very end, maybe by the start of football season. And then I'll have some questions for you. The questions would be Coach or Woody? You don't know. You don't even have any idea what I'm talking about right now. None whatsoever. Coach or Woody? Or Rebecca or Diane? All right?
Blonde or brunette? I could probably give you the answer right now if you tell me which one's which.
I'm going to have you start watching the show, and you'll be able to figure it out. So this is going to be an ongoing assignment. I think you're going to enjoy Cheers. It still holds up well. And there's no laugh track. it really was filmed in front of a live studio audience. And so the color of the screen is richer because it's filmed. It wasn't videotaped. The laughter is real, so you don't feel like you're being fooled. It's great writing, fantastic characters, lovable characters, and they had to go through a lot of changes because of cast changes. Specifically, I'm telling you about, Coach and Woody. This was Coach, who was the most famous character, the most lovable character of that for the first couple of years. He passes away. Woody Harrelson joins it. This is where Woody Harrelson was introduced to the world. And with the whole Shelley Long and Diane and her relationship with Sam being what the show spun around for its first few years, then she doesn't like the money she's making. Exit. They write her off the show. They bring on Kirstie Alley and Rebecca, and it was like nothing. It's like they didn't skip a beat. Truly an incredible show. You got to start watching Cheers.
I think John's watched the entire show, and I think he's had good things to say about it. So if you're saying that, John's saying that, I think I'm in for a good time. I got a real quick bonus question for you before we go out. It's ice cream soda day. This is kind of our throwaway holiday that we were talking about yesterday. I have personally never had an ice cream soda. I'm assuming you...
What? Wait a second here.
I know,
You've never actually put like a scoop of ice cream into a glass of soda?
With soda water, no. And that's why I'm asking you, Phil, as an 80s kid who I know probably went to a couple soda shops up in Pittsburgh. Are they worth it? Do I need to go have one like after the show, like immediately?
What? They're incredible. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I guess I
Kid
got my
doesn't
answer.
eat mac and cheese and everything. Oh, come on now.
Mac and cheese is garbage. I'll die on that hill.
That's fine. Don't die on the hill of never having an ice cream soda. Mix some strawberry ice cream with Sprite. Sounds gross. You're going to love every minute of it.
You think Sonic would do that for me?
I think Sonic will do anything you ask if it involves ice cream and soda.
All right. I'll give it a whirl.
Go for it. Also, go for it if you're looking for a new car to Road Chevrolet, a name you've been trusting for over 80 years. Rhodes has been dependable in the car buying and car owning experience from the very start. That's from the first time you walk into their showroom, you're going to be treated like family. As part of the family-owned dealership and service department that has been serving the River Valley for over 8 decades. Find your next dependable vehicle today at Road Chevrolet, 2800 Alma Highway in Van Buren, or at roadchevy.com. Road Chevrolet, dependable since 1934. Back after a break, halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while or you haven't had the best of experience with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney of Family Dentistry. They take care of it all: crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. They even offer oral consciousness sedation available for your comfort. That's Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today, 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
Massey Ferguson tractors have arrived at Bush.
Somebody said we've got SEC buyers. Deal with it. They're the best.
Massey Ferguson dealer in Western Arkansas, providing you with the full lineup of versatile Massey Ferguson tractors. They're built with straightforward power, smart fuel economy, and upgraded control and comfort. Stop by and find a new Massey Ferguson perfectly sized to fit your property or farm at Bush Machine and Tractor, 7301 South 0th Street in Fort Smith, or visit us online at bushtractor.com.
Now is the time to book your fundraising and corporate golf outings for 2019 at Eagle Crest Golf Course. Call Eagle Crest now before all the best dates are gone. 479-632-8857. Eagle Crest Golf Course, voted best of the best golf course 2 years in a row. Let their staff take care of everything, from help with your tournament as well as food and beverage service. If you're looking for a place to host your corporate or charity event this year, call Eagle Crest Golf Course. 479-632-8857.
Kofer's Boat Center, your authorized Mercury dealer, has been helping our customers create a lifetime of family memories for over 45 years. Kofer's carries the brands you trust like low aluminum fishing boats, low pontoons, and Bayliner powered by Mercury. Fish the finest in Triton tournament bass boats to fit every budget. Or come check out the best-selling towboats in the industry from Malibu and Axis, ready to create the best wakes and surf waves you've ever experienced. Stop by and see all the options available for your family's time on the water at Kofer's, or visit our website at kofers.com.
Proclaim Construction has been in the industry for a combined 50 years, and they can meet any needs you may have for your home or business. Proclaim is your insurance restoration specialist, and they're offering a no-cost, limited-time free roof inspection, and they'll make your insurance claim if necessary. Whether it's basic repair, remodel, or complete makeover, Proclaim Construction guarantees your satisfaction with the best warranty in the business. Proclaim has references for your peace of mind, and they're licensed, bonded, and insured for your protection. Call 479-407-9598.
It's Truck Month 2.0 at Harry Robinson, and all the 2018s have got to go. There are only 6 2018 Sierra trucks remaining. They have to sell this month. Discounts over $15,000 off retail while they last. And the all-new 2019 GMC Sierra with a redesigned body style and the all-new tailgate. Take $12,000 off retail or choose 0% for 72 months. It's Truck Month 2.0. All the 18s have got to go at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
At Michelob Ultra, we know it's not just about how much you work out every day. It's about how much you work into every day, too. So we brew our beer for those who realize that expending calories should never come at the expense of spending time with friends. Those who understand that just because you work out doesn't mean you can't go out. And that's why we brew Michelob Ultra to have 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and a crisp, clean taste. Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who live fit, live fun, live ultra. Enjoy responsibly. 2018 Michelob Ultra Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams of protein, and 0 grams fat for 12 ounces.
This is halftime.
Phil, it's hard for me looking at this quarterback room, looking at what he was able to do as a true freshman on the mound, and looking at the potential opportunity to be the guy next year. It's his decision. We can't make that for him. As much as we might think something may be better for him, he and his parents ultimately need to decide, and the coaches with Chad Morris and Dave Van Horn, what he should and needs to do moving forward.
Every weekday from 12 to 2, only on ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your evening on the Avenue. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Of course, if the umps are watching me close, I just rub a little jalapeno inside my nose, get it running, and if I need to load the ball up a little, just wipe my nose.
You put snot on the ball?
I haven't got an arm like yours. I got to put anything on it I can find.
Quick updates on some former Razorback baseball players. Trevor Ezell officially is now a former Razorback baseball player. Has signed a professional contract with the Tampa Bay Rays. Trevor went undrafted through the Major League draft a couple of weeks ago. And I think more than anything, it was because of that shoulder that forced him to have to play first base. And you wonder about maybe some professional organizations and scouts feel like he might be a little bit limited on where he can play in the field, whether it's going to be second base or first base. But he can definitely hit. I don't think there's any doubt about that. He can hit, run the bases, and they'll tell you if you can swing the bat, they'll find a place for you, even if it's designated hitter. Although they don't draft a lot of DHs, guys that prove that they can swing the bat in pro ball, there'll be a place for him. I think Trevor will be an interesting guy to follow throughout professional baseball. And eventually, if that shoulder does heal properly, where he can really throw it with reckless abandon, so to speak, I'm not saying he'll be a major league player, but I think that's somebody that will get the most out of being a free agent and going undrafted.
Doesn't being a lefty always give him a little bit of a leg up as well?
Well, he's a switch hitter, so I mean that's going to that'll help. That'll help, no doubt. So the fact that he can hit both sides and is good on both sides of the plate will help too. So that's good news involving Trevor Ezell. Tough news though for Drew Smiley, former Razorback pitcher, who had been attempting to come back after missing the last couple of years due to arm surgery. He'd hooked on with the Texas Rangers, and 8.42 ERA over 13 outings for Smiley. The Rangers announcing that they are placing him, well, they haven't placed him anywhere yet. They have DFA'd him, designated for assignment, so that pretty much will probably end Drew Smiley's tenure with the Texas Rangers. All right, there is College World Series later on today, and it is a losers bracket game between Mississippi State and Louisville. Both of those teams picking up wins yesterday, although half of Louisville's 5-3 victory against Auburn took place on Tuesday, but because of rain in Omaha Tuesday afternoon and all throughout the night, they suspended it. Louisville holds on and wins 5-3. Two other games played yesterday. The 1-0 game in the Vanderbilt-Mississippi State ball game, and Vanderbilt gets another great performance from Kumar Rocker. 6 innings, 1 run, 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, 2 home runs from left fielder Steven Scott, who accounted for 4 runs batted in as Vandy wins 6-3 over Mississippi State. And Vanderbilt now sitting pretty, along with the Michigan Wolverines. Those are the 2 teams that just need 1 victory in the semifinals to go to the College World Series championship round. So right now Vanderbilt's waiting to see who they will play. It's either Mississippi State or Louisville. It will be Michigan versus Texas Tech tomorrow. Former Razorback Bryce Bonin delivered 5 solid innings for Texas Tech, and they got a home run from Brian Klein, their second baseman, as Texas Tech beats Florida State 4-1 and ends Mike Martin's wonderful 40-year career. So there was no Cinderella for Mike Martin in the last year, although I really just kind of think his team making it to Omaha this year, when potentially this could have been his worst team, that says a lot about how motivated they might have been to begin with. All right, we will step aside for a break since it is NBA Draft Day, and we've got some news, of course, involving Justice Hill. As far as basketball is concerned, we're going to talk with our basketball guru across the natural state. That is Kevin McPherson. He is next on ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime.
When you think about the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery, you think about winning. And with more than 500,000 life-changing scholarships awarded so far, you can think about winners like Cole, who won the chance to study psychology at the University of Arkansas, or Miriam, who won an education from Arkansas Tech, or Rafa, who won a scholarship to UA Fort Smith, the first in her family to go to college. Apply for your scholarship now at scholarships.adhe.edu. This is winning.
Proclaim Construction has been in the industry for a combined 50 years, and they can meet any needs you may have for your home or business. Proclaim is your insurance restoration specialist, and they're offering a no-cost, limited-time free roof inspection, and they'll make your insurance claim if necessary. Whether it's basic repair, remodel, or complete makeover, Proclaim Construction guarantees your satisfaction with the best warranty in the business. Proclaim has references for your peace of mind, and they're licensed, bonded, and insured for your protection. Call 479-407-9598.
Hi, I'm Doug Johnson. My mom and dad founded Razorback Camper Sales 50 years ago. It all started back in 1969 on the corner of St. Louis and Airport Road in Hot Springs. Spending time with family and helping our customers make lasting memories is what we've been doing for the last half century. Isn't that right, Mac?
That's right, Papa!
From all of us at Razorback Camper Sales, thank you for the last 50 years.
Right now at Randall Ford, sales tax paid. You heard right. Sales tax paid on all new and used vehicles in stock. Sales tax paid. Plus, we want your trade. Randall Ford is paying top dollar for your trade with a huge selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Why buy anywhere else? Stop in today. Sales tax paid and top dollar for your trade. Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers, or online at randallford.com. 4th oldest Ford dealer in America with approved credit. See dealer for details.
The Catfish Kitchen at the top of Logtown Hill in Van Buren has lunch specials every weekday from 11 till 2, starting at only $6.99. Try the 3-piece catfish filet dinner with hand-cut fries and all the fixins. It's only $9.99. And the Catfish Kitchen is more than catfish. Try their shrimp dinners, cooked any way you like it. Chicken tenders, crab cakes, or one of their po' boy sandwiches. The Catfish Kitchen, open Tuesday through Sunday, 11 till 8, at 727 Fayetteville Road at the top of Logtown Hill, across from the police station in Van Buren.
Evans Body Shop is ready to get your vehicle spiffed up for all the fun activities and trips that come along with the summer. Spend your days at the pool, not worrying about getting your car fixed. We'll do that for you. We will work with you and your insurance company to make the entire process easy. Follow us on Facebook so that you won't miss your chance to win Parrot Island tickets throughout the summer. Stop in today, 412 Portland Avenue, Van Buren, and you'll see why we say
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
That's 2, that's far shooter.
Oh, you can count. Good for you.
And you can count on me waiting for you in the parking lot.
talk with Kevin McPherson, some Arkansas basketball right here in halftime. Kevin, good to talk to you. Been a couple of weeks. We were kind of knee-deep in baseball for a while there, and now we're into the off-season, which includes a news-making day with the announcement of Justice Hill's entrance into the transfer portal. You got to be careful how you say that, right? Because he's not transferring yet. He's not a former Razorback yet, but I also kind of feel like he never had really been a Razorback yet. He just got on the court practice a little bit. So it's just been such an odd story all year. And for me, this just kind of fits into what we were expecting.
Gosh, who saw this coming, right? We were talking about this not that long ago when it came out in late May. Actually, school had just started back. The team came back from a brief summer break on the 27th, which was the end of Labor Day weekend, and then the following day, the first summer session started, and that's when Musselman went down to Sandestin for the SEC meetings, and things came out that day that I don't know if you remember that, but news was breaking that if you remember it being that timing, and Justice Hill was back on campus and taking part in team stuff and getting in classes, and as it turns out, just a few weeks later. He is looking at other options. You're right. He's going to look at some possibilities within the football program. But I know there are some SEC schools that have already, now he's putting his name in the transfer portal. We got to be careful on the timing of things. But I know there are some other SEC schools that are already showing interest in inquiring. Some other high major programs in other conferences, including the Pac-12, which I find interesting. Justice Hill appears to me to be heading out of the program. Now, we'll see if something works out with the football team and he ends up staying. Don't want to get ahead of myself there, but if some of these other opportunities avail themselves for both sports or even basketball, we may just see him leave soon.
But it just seems like he's just still isn't really sure what he wants to be. Whether he wants, I think all things equal, he would want to be an Arkansas basketball player, but obviously that's not gonna happen. Maybe he just wants to be a Razorback, and so he's looking at football. But I just wonder if he really even is sure what it is he wants to be, whether he wants to be a basketball player or a football player. And it's awfully difficult to be both of them. And he's going to have to make that decision pretty soon.
That's right. And, here's the thing. I think Justice prefers basketball. He said that. He's told me that a million times. He's good in both sports and likes to play both sports with a preference for basketball. I think the big thing is that he envisioned a future with the previous staff of having a chance to even compete for a starting job in year one. I think with this staff, and when you look at what Musselman prefers and how he's done things at his previous stop, at least as a head coach at the college level, is for it to play a veteran team. He doesn't go as deep either as Mike Anderson does. Anderson likes to play 9, 10, sometimes more, work them in regularly. With Musselman, you're looking at a rotation of 7 or 8. And so when you bring in a Jimmy Witt and you've got a Jalen Harris who's going to be, a fourth-year junior and Jimmy Witt a fifth-year senior, the pecking order in the rotation was not lining up favorably for Justice Hill to see a lot of time. Now, he sat out. We know that the spring semester. He joined the team basically at a time when they were going into SEC play, and he practiced and enrolled in school, but he didn't participate in games. So, just looking down the line here at another year of maybe not playing, very limited maybe. I can understand the desire to get on the court somewhere, but the football thing is the caveat, right? If he still has interest there and he put that out on Twitter today, he's going to look at those options as well. It does make you wonder, is he having a change of heart or maybe shifting a little more towards football now?
Talking with Kevin McPherson at AR Hoop Scoop here on Halftime. Kevin, we're talking about the origin a couple of weeks back of this coming out, the possibility of him no longer being on the team. He announces it today. He's in the transfer portal. Let's get into the roots of why do you think it came down to this? Why do you think that Arkansas and Justice Hill and Eric Musselman decided it was better for him to look at other options?
I think it's just what I just said. I think playing time was obvious that there may not be any. I think that's going to be the case for some other guys that have been there just because he tends to play 7 or 8 if you look back at the history. But I think that's probably the biggest thing. But I think also you've got to consider Musselman, not only has he brought in these grad transfers, even when the numbers appeared to be overflowing, he's still looking at guys, and he prefers veteran guys. And I just think the combination of those things, for a young player, we see it at an all-time high, all the transfers. It's not just senior grads, it's younger guys too. And, he still has 4 years of playing eligibility. He should have no problem getting immediate eligibility somewhere if he finds another opportunity. He thinks he's going to get on the floor sooner. So I think those things were the biggest factors. I think the other thing you got to realize is that he did come back to school to start the summer session. He was back on campus, so I don't think anything had been resolved or determined at the point that some of that stuff got out. I think it was basically a guessing game on the numbers and what seemed the most obvious thing that might happen. I'm not going to disparage the guy that put that out there because as today he turns out looking like a genius. But I don't think that those things were decided or determined at that point. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been back in school, just a few weeks ago. But yeah, I think really what it boils down to now, Tye, is playing time.
So, Kevin, there's been 2 recent hires. I know you reported on Hayes Myers at the end of May, and then Anthony Ruda has just been announced as the Director of Basketball Operations. What can you tell us about these 2 new hires to the Arkansas basketball program?
Well, these are guys that Muss brought with him from Nevada. And so anytime that you get a new hire like this, there's probably familiarity and things when there's guys that you trust, that you built a relationship already, because so many things are going to be new. And I think it's a sound way to put your staff together. Both of those guys have been heavily involved, from my understanding, in different aspects in helping Musselman at Nevada in terms of being academic liaisons with the players, scheduling, all kinds of hats that they've worn. And, they hit the ground running as almost like full-time assistants, because before he hired his 3 assistants, these guys had hands in coaching on the floor and recruiting. And still may have some hand in some of that stuff as all the transitions are fully made. But I think it's a good move for both of these guys. I've met both of them, gotten to talk to both of them, and they both seem like sharp young men that are going to be good for the program in Musselman. And we know that his assistant coaches have big resumes for recruiting and NBA and a lot of the stuff that Musselman's personal resume brings to the table. Now he's got a staff but these young guys, these are going to be stepping stones for them as they, try to advance in their careers in the college basketball game.
Kevin, what's your read on why Isaiah Moss decided to de-transfer? I think would be the right way to put it, because how long was he even with the team? About a month, maybe a month, maybe a month and a half. Comes from Iowa, transfer, going to play, and then never plays. What do you know about that?
Yeah, Isaiah Moss. So he never made it to campus because he still had work to do to fulfill his graduate requirement so that he could be a grad transfer. So he was still at Iowa. And when you're not enrolled at the school that you've committed to, you're basically still out there and a free agent. And I think when you really look at what Arkansas had in Isaiah Joe and Mason Jones, you got 2 6'5" wing guys who are proficient 3-point shooters, really kind of fit the same bill as Moss. And so even though he committed knowing that, I think the more he looked at Kansas opportunities, and with guys at Kansas, some of the things that shook out with their backcourt guys over those few weeks that looked more like a better opportunity for him to go there. And they stayed on him. And, if you think about it, that's just smart recruiting. We know Kansas's name has come up and some of their stuff on some wiretap stuff and some of the sting going on in that FBI probe. But at the end of the day, until something's done about that, some of these schools are just going to keep doing what they do and stay in there, whatever they're doing in recruiting. I'm not saying they did something wrong with Moss, but they're definitely not bashful, and they got him. And Kansas is a blue blood, let's face it. That's something that he doubled back on and circled back around on and decided that was the best fit for him.
Well, there's another blue blood that's recruiting a player that Arkansas had taken a close look at, Kerry Blackshear. Apparently, is he not considering Arkansas anymore? Is it pretty much going to look at Kentucky now?
Yeah, well, he's also considering a visit to Texas A&M, where Buzz Williams, his coach at Virginia Tech, landed as the head coach. That was really, when he put his name in the NBA draft pool, and the transfer portal when Buzz it was obvious that he was leaving for A&M. So we'll see if he takes a visit. There's reports out that he may visit A&M this weekend. A lot of reports swirling that it's a done deal with Kentucky, but hasn't committed yet. So, yeah, the longer this goes and the further he gets away from that Arkansas visit and is still looking at schools, he's either having fun and going to get all those 5 official visits or 4 of them, whatever he decides to do. But the longer it goes and there's more distance between him and that Arkansas visit, I think the tougher it is for Arkansas, because it's already an uphill climb when you're battling with the Kentucky or even with Tennessee with the success that program's had in the last couple of years. I just think that Arkansas, it's a great job to get Blackshear on campus. That's a start. But I think Arkansas is probably playing from behind right now for his services, but that's probably obvious at this point.
Kevin McPherson, Hogville.net, Pittrell Nation, our guest here on Halftime. Kevin, I was thinking about this with Justice Hill not playing basketball for Arkansas in the transfer portal and then possibly taking his talents to the Arkansas football program or going to another school and trying to play basketball, possibly football. Connor Nolan came out with his decision today that he is sticking with baseball here at the University of Arkansas, ultimately going to forego football. There's Deion Sanders, there's Bo Jackson, there's Kyler Murray, there's Jameis Winston. But we don't have a lot of examples where athletes succeed in both sports at the same time, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, football, whatever it may be, whatever the combination. Do you think it's harder to play two sports today than, say, it was 20 years ago?
Of course it is, and I think because there's so much specialization in sports now, everybody wants to play at the pro level. That's more important. It's always been important, but it seems like now, even when they go through AAU or whatever it is before they get to college, there's so much laser pointed to that end goal. And so when you're trying to juggle sports, I think, and I think it affected Justice Hill going back and forth with football and basketball. I don't think he was as good as he could have been in either sport by doing that. Now, I'm not disparaging him. He's one of the best athletes to come through the state, as evidenced by being Gatorade Football Player of the Year and, leading Little Rock Christian over Pulaski Academy, which was a powerhouse in that division for a state title, and doing some of the things he did in basketball and with a lot of the high major programs. Even though he was committed to Arkansas since his freshman year of high school, a lot of high major programs still showed interest in him. So it speaks a lot to the talent, but at some point I do think it hurts them when they get to college. I don't think it's as easy to do. It's probably better to focus on one, especially if you want to have a pro career and think that you can.
Kevin, good stuff as always. Appreciate it. Look forward to talking more about this in the summertime.
Good to be with you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Kevin McPherson covering Arkansas basketball. Give him a follow on Twitter at ARHoopScoop. Tye, tomorrow, big day at Art's Barbecue and Burgers, isn't it?
All you can eat catfish for dinner, catfish special for lunch. My stomach's been rumbling about the past 30 minutes. Might have to head over there after. I got a tweet yesterday from our friend Justin, friend of the program, that was talking about he'd been listening to hearing me talk about the Art Attack Burger for a while now. Went in, loved it. I'm telling you, he's not the only one. If you go into Arts today, tomorrow, whenever you get in, get the Art Attack Burger, smoked ham, bacon, fried egg, hand-breaded onion ring, all the fixins, and a mound of fresh-cut fries. Their barbecue's fantastic. Their burger's fantastic. Their catfish is fantastic. Everything is fantastic at Arts. Go see Wade today. It's Art Barbecue and Burgers off Rogers Avenue next to Aaron's here in Fort Smith.
Cherry on the top of a Thursday halftime next on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Good coaches win. Great coaches cover. You're listening to Halftime.
Cofer's Boat Center, your authorized Mercury dealer, has been helping our customers create a lifetime of family memories for over 45 years. Cofer's carries the brands you trust like low